I pushed open the front door, expecting to hear Emily humming in the kitchen like she usually did, but the house felt strangely quiet. "Emily." I called out. My voice echoed back at me. I stepped into the dining room and froze when I saw a stack of papers sitting in the center of the table. My name was typed on the top page. No, this can't be. I reached for the papers with shaking hands and whispered, "Divorce." Why? My chest tightened as I flipped through the pages. What did I do? I muttered, trying to breathe. I called out again, louder this time. "Emily, can you come here? Please." No answer. I felt a cold weight build in my stomach. It didn't make sense. She kissed me goodbye this morning. She told me to drive safe. I tried calling her phone, and it rang from somewhere down the hall. A few seconds later, Emily walked into the doorway. Her face looked calm to calm. "You found them," she said. Not a question. No warmth. "Emily, what is this?" I held up the papers like they were something poisonous. "Why are you doing this? Talk to me." "I want out, Daniel," she said. Her voice was flat. "I'm tired. I don't want this anymore. Just sign them. Just sign them," I repeated. "Emily, we've been together for years. You can't just drop this on me without even explaining. There's nothing to explain," she cut in. She looked everywhere except at me. "There's everything to explain." I stepped closer, desperate. "Did I hurt you? Did I fail you somehow? Tell me what I did wrong." "You didn't do anything wrong," she said quietly. "I just changed." "That's not an answer," I said. "People don't destroy a marriage because they're bored." Her shoulders stiffened. "Please don't make this harder." "Harder." "Emily, you're blowing up my entire life. I think I'm allowed to ask questions." I forced a shaky breath. "Are you seeing someone? Is that it?" She flinched. A small motion, but enough to stab me. "This isn't about anyone else." But the lie was too thin. I felt it. I heard it. "Look at me," I said. "Tell me the truth. Is there another man?" "I'm not having this conversation," she said, brushing past me. "Just sign the papers, Daniel." Stood still for a long time after she left the room. My breath felt trapped in my throat. I kept replaying her cold eyes, her flat voice. Something didn't fit. Something dark pulsed beneath her words. Hours passed. I sat on the edge of the bed, unable to think straight. The papers lay beside me like a threat. I couldn't accept this. Not without answers. Late that night, when the house was quiet, I heard her phone buzz. Then another buzz. Then her voice, low, soft, and warm, warmer than anything she used on me today. "Hey, yeah, I miss you too," she whispered from the hallway. My heart dropped into my stomach. I know, she murmured. "I'll see you soon, Mark." Mark, the name hit me so hard I almost stopped breathing. I leaned toward the door. Listening, "No, he hasn't signed yet," she whispered. "I told you he won't make trouble. He's too gentle for that." My hands curled into fists. Too gentle, too trusting, too blind. Her voice softened again. "I love you, good night." The call ended. My entire body felt numb. I stared at the dark ceiling, listening to my heartbeat pounding like a drum inside my ears. There it was. The truth she refused to look me in the eye to tell. There it was, the reason my marriage was ending. I lay there, feeling something inside me tear open. I whispered the name to myself, letting the bitterness fill my mouth. Mark. I suddenly wasn't sure who Emily was anymore, and I wasn't sure who I was to her, or who I had been for months. But one thing was painfully clear. This wasn't the woman I thought I married. I closed my eyes, swallowed, and felt the last of my old life slipping away. Nothing would ever be the same after tonight. I woke up with Emily's whisper echoing in my head. "I love you, Mark." Hearing it replay made my chest tighten. I sat on the edge of the bed and tried to breathe. Why would she say that to someone else? I muttered. When I walked into the kitchen, I asked Emily, "Can we talk about last night?" She kept her eyes on her coffee. "I don't want to argue. Heard you say his name," I said. "I know what I heard. You're overthinking," she replied. "Drop it." "I can't. She grabbed her bag. I'm going to yoga. After she left, I pulled out the phone bill. Mark's number filled the page. Morning, afternoon, midnight. So many calls, I whispered. Anger and heartbreak twisted together. When she came home that night, I held up the bill. Explain this, she sighed. Daniel, why does it matter? Why does it matter? I said. Because you're calling him every day, she laughed bitterly. You and I stopped being a real couple a long time ago. Her words knocked the breath out of me. Emily, don't say that. It's the truth, she said. Sign the papers, so you admit there's someone else. Believe whatever helps you. Just be honest. I'm done talking, she said, walking away. The next morning, she left early again. I sat in the car watching her drive off, my hands trembling. I need answers, I whispered, following her from a distance. She parked near a small cafe. A tall man stepped out and smiled when he saw her. Emily walked straight into his arms. Watching her hug him felt like something inside me cracked open. That's Mark, I whispered. He brushed a hand through her hair and she laughed softly. I felt sick. They went inside. I followed and took a seat far enough to stay unnoticed. The waitress asked, "Would you like to order?" "Just water," I said. Emily and Mark sat at a corner table. Their hands touched across the surface. I leaned closer and heard her whisper, "I wish he'd just sign." Mark chuckled. "He will. Guys like him always do. Guys like him." I gripped the edge of the table. Hearing them talk about me like I was an inconvenience burned hotter than anything. When Emily stood up, Mark followed her outside. I watched them kiss before walking down the street hand in hand. That sight crushed any tiny hope I'd been holding. The waitress set the water down and asked, "Are you okay?" I shook my head. "Not really." She gave me a gentle look before leaving me alone. I stayed in the cafe until they were gone. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. The truth was no longer something I imagined. It was right in front of me. When I stepped outside, the air felt sharp. I whispered, "So this is why she wants out." The betrayal wasn't a question anymore. It had a face, a voice, and a name, Mark. I walked a few steps and had to stop because my legs felt weak. I leaned against a street lamp and whispered, "How long has this been happening?" Seeing them laugh together across the street twisted something deep inside me. I went to my car and saw a text from Emily. "Be home late." I stared at it, feeling sick. I wanted to ask where she was, but I knew she wouldn't tell me the truth. Driving home felt endless. Was I really that easy to replace? I asked the empty car. Every red light trapped me with questions I didn't want to face. At home, the silence hit me hard. I looked at the divorce papers again. Emily's signature was bold. Mine was still blank. I touched the line where my name should go and whispered, "Not yet." I sat on the couch and buried my face in my hands. I deserve the truth, I said to myself. I deserve at least that. My phone rang, and I hoped it was Emily. But it was the cafe number. The waitress's voice came. "Sir, you left your receipt here. Are you all right?" I hesitated, then said, "No, but thank you for asking." I waited for Emily in the living room, sitting upright because lying down made my chest feel tighter. When she opened the door, I stood so fast, she flinched. "We need to talk," I said. "About Mark." She dropped her bag lightly, like none of this mattered. "All right," she said. "Ask, how long?" I asked, "How long have you been seeing him?" She didn't hesitate. "Months." The word stabbed me. "Months," I repeated. "While we were still sharing a bed." "Don't make it dramatic," she said. "We were basically done. We were married," I said. "How is that done to you?" She shrugged. "You stopped exciting me. Everything with you felt heavy." "So, your solution was another man?" I asked. "Not talking to me? Not trying?" "Daniel, he made me feel alive," she said, and the way she said it, soft, nostalgic, almost romantic, made my stomach twist. "Alive?" I whispered. "I thought we were happy." "You thought wrong?" she said. "You never noticed anything." I took a step back. "Because I believed in us." "That's the problem." "You believed." I didn't. I rubbed my forehead. Why didn't you tell me you were unhappy? Why didn't you give me a chance to fix it? Because you can't fix being boring, she said. Her words burned my face with humiliation. So that's how you see me. It's not an insult, she replied. We're just not a match. Then why did you marry me? I asked. You were stable, she said. Safe. Safe, I repeated, but not enough to stay loyal. She crossed her arms. Can we stop? I'm trying to be honest. This isn't honesty, I said. This is cruelty. She grabbed her bag again. Believe it however you want. I'm done explaining. She walked toward the bedroom, and I followed her. Emily, look at me. Just once. Tell me you didn't feel anything when you said those things. She finally looked, but her eyes were cold. I don't love you anymore. That's it. Wait. My knees almost gave out. So you love him? She didn't answer. She didn't need to. I breathed harshly. Are you leaving tonight? No, she said. But don't bother me. I'm exhausted. I let her go because I didn't have the strength to push anymore. My chest felt cracked open. The next morning at work, Lucas stopped at my desk. Man, you look terrible, he said. What happened? I swallowed hard. Emily. She told me everything. He sat beside me instantly. Say it. She's been seeing someone for months, I said. She said he makes her feel alive. She said I was boring. Lucas shook his head. That's messed up. You didn't deserve that. I don't know what I did wrong, I whispered. Nothing, he said. Some people screw up the good things they have. But trust me, the worst isn't over. What do you mean? I asked. He sighed. People like Emily don't stop at one blow. She's going to twist the knife. I leaned back and covered my face. I don't think I can take more. You can, he said. You just don't know it yet. I tried working, but every few minutes her words hit me again. Boring. Alive. Done. When I got home that night, Emily wasn't around. My phone buzzed. A long text from her appeared. I opened it slowly, Daniel. I want this separation to be peaceful. I don't want us hurting each other. I hope you can accept this with kindness. I didn't mean for things to get ugly. Let's end our marriage with grace. Grace. I almost laughed. She shattered me, then asked me to bleed politely. I dropped onto the couch and read it again, hoping I'd misunderstood something. The message stayed. The same gentle words covering a knife. My phone buzzed again. Another message from her. It's better this way. You'll thank me someday. Thank you, I whispered, for breaking my life. The house felt too quiet, too cold. I wrapped my arms around myself without thinking. I lay awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, replaying her voice. Every sentence felt like a bruise. I kept hearing her laugh when she called me boring, and the sound twisted inside me. I wondered how long she'd been waiting to say those words. How long she'd been slipping away while I tried to hold everything together. The silence felt heavier than anything before. I don't understand why you'd send me this now, I mutter as I stare at the pink and blue card on my screen. Emily, what are you doing? My phone buzzes again. Her message sits under the image like a blade pressed against my skin. I want you to come. It would mean a lot. It would mean a lot, I whisper. After everything? I pace my living room, my fingers shaking. The card is bright, cheerful, stupidly innocent. I'm not. Not anymore. My chest feels tight as I hit call. She answers on the second ring. Daniel. Yeah, it's me, I say, trying to steady my voice. Emily, why did you send me that? I thought you'd want to know, she replies softly. I didn't want you to feel left out. Left out? I choke out a laugh. You think a gender reveal invitation fixes anything? She goes quiet. I hear her breathing, shaky, uneven. I wanted us to be okay. Emily, stop, I say. Just tell me why you really sent it, she sighs. Because I thought you should hear it from me. Hear what? I ask. That you're having a baby. That you're doing parties now? That everything's just fine for you? Daniel, please don't make this harder. I'm not making anything harder, I snap. You already did that. Just talk to me honestly for once. Silence. I swallow. My throat burns. Emily, Is the baby mine? Her breath catches audible, sharp, terrified. Emily, I repeat, stronger this time. Just tell me. It's not, she finally whispers. Daniel, the baby is Mark's. My knees nearly give out. I grip the back of my chair, nails digging in. So you cheated on me, shattered everything I had, and now you're having his kid? Daniel, I'm sorry, no. I cut in. Don't say you're sorry. Don't say anything you don't mean. I am sorry, she insists, voice trembling. I never wanted to hurt you like this. Then why invite me to celebrate it? I ask. Why send me a card with balloons and tiny shoes like we're friends? I thought maybe if you came, it would show we can still talk, that we can heal. Till I echo. How am I supposed to heal while watching you and him play happy family? Mark isn't replacing you, she says quickly. You were such a big part of my life. I don't want to erase that. But you already did, I whisper. The moment you chose him, she sniffles. Daniel, please. I don't want us to hate each other. I don't hate you, I say. I wish I could. Then come, she pleads. Just come to the reveal. Let me show you things don't have to stay broken. They already are. But they don't have to be forever. She pushes gently. We can still be important to each other. I shake my head even though she can't see it. Emily, every time I hear your voice, I remember what I lost. And now you want me to clap while you announce his baby? I didn't think it would hurt you like this. Of course it would, I say. How could it not? She hesitates. I thought you'd want to know the truth. The truth. I laugh weakly. You hid it until I asked? You were never going to tell me unless I confronted you. I was scared, she admits. So was I say. Every day after you left, she whispers, Daniel, I don't want to lose you entirely. You already did, I reply softly. But I think you just haven't accepted it yet. Please don't say that, she begs. We can still talk. We can still know, I cut in. Not right now. Maybe not ever. She breathes out a shaky, broken sound. Then you're not coming? I can't, I answer. Not after knowing it's his. I understand, she says, though her voice cracks. I really do. Goodbye, Emily, I whisper. Goodbye, Daniel. The call ends. The silence afterward feels heavier than anything she said. I look at the pink and blue card one last time before deleting it, and for the first time, I let myself admit the truth. She's gone, and I'm the only one still standing in the ruins. I sit down and breathe slowly, trying to steady the storm inside me. Maybe someday this will make sense, but tonight, I only feel the truth settling in my chest. It hurts more than I expected today. I stood outside the venue with my hands shaking, wondering why I had agreed to come. Lucas walked beside me and asked, You sure you want to do this? I whispered no, but I need to. He nodded and followed me inside. The room exploded with pink and blue decorations, children laughing, relatives chatting, a loud music that felt too cheerful for what I carried inside my chest. A few strangers stared at me like they were trying to guess who I was. I heard someone whisper, Is that her ex? And another voice murmured something I couldn't catch. But the tone told me enough. Emily rushed toward me with a smile that looked rehearsed. Daniel, you made it, she said brightly. I answered, You invited me. She tucked her hair behind her ear and said, I thought it would be good for closure. I muttered, For who? Her smile faltered before she whispered, Please don't start. I crossed my arms. I'm not here to start anything. Mark appeared with his usual smugness. Daniel, he said, glad you could show up. I replied, Don't flatter yourself. I'm here because she asked. Still, brave of you. I stepped closer. You think this is bravery? He shrugged. Call it whatever you want. Lucas pulled me back gently and whispered, Save your energy. A woman approached us with a polite smile. Hi, I'm Anna, she said. Mark's sister. I nodded. Daniel. She hesitated. I've heard about you, I asked. All bad, I'm guessing? She gave a small shrug. Mostly complicated. That seems to be my role lately. Before she left, she said softly, I'm sorry things turned out this way. Emily's mother, Karen, came over next. She looked uneasy. Daniel, thank you for coming, she whispered. I replied I wasn't sure I should. She lowered her voice. Emily wanted peace today. I asked, peace for who? Her or the family? Karen swallowed. This is her new beginning. I felt something twist inside me. In my ending, I muttered. She didn't deny it as she walked away. Lucas leaned in and whispered, You okay? I said, Not really. I feel like I'm watching someone else live the life I thought I had.
Oh.
Lucas nodded slowly. Just breathe. You're stronger than they think. 2 guests walked by, whispering loudly enough for me to hear. That's him, right? The ex-husband. The first said. The second replied, Yeah. I don't know why he'd show up. I clenched my jaw, but before I could say anything, Emily hurried over. Ignore them, she said. I stared at her. Then why introduce me like a footnote? She sighed. I didn't mean it that way, I answered, but you said it that way. She whispered, I'm trying, Daniel. I shook my head. Not hard enough. Mark joined her again. Is there a problem? He asked. I replied, You keep showing up like a shadow. He smirked. Just making sure things stay calm. I stepped closer. If you wanted calm, you should have stayed out of my marriage. Lucas put a hand on my shoulder. Enough, he whispered. Emily looked at me with tired eyes. Daniel, please, I didn't invite you to fight. I asked. Then why did you? She hesitated. Because I didn't want our story to end with anger. I laughed bitterly. Our story ended the moment you chose him, she whispered. I didn't want you to hate me, I answered. Then you shouldn't have lied. Someone called for everyone to gather. The crowd cheered and formed a circle around Emily and Mark. I stood at the back, watching him place his hands on her stomach like he was showing off a prize. Lucas whispered, You can leave if you want. I whispered back, Not yet. Emily lifted the confetti cannon. Mark kissed her cheek. The room screamed when a burst of pink rained down. I didn't cheer. I didn't clap. I just stood there, feeling everything inside me collapse and settle at the same time. Emily looked at me with a soft, guilty smile. I turned away. Lucas asked, Ready to go? I nodded. Yeah, I've seen enough. We walked toward the exit together, and for the first time the pain felt real, but clean. As we stepped outside, the cool air hit my face, and I felt a strange mix of relief and sadness. I whispered to myself that this was the last time. I would let their choices define my worth. Today, the countdown echoed through the room, everyone shouting numbers like it was the happiest moment of their lives. I stood near the back, trying to steady my breathing. Lucas whispered, You don't have to watch. I said I need to. Emily held the balloon with both hands while Mark wrapped his arms around her waist, pulling her close. The sight punched me in the chest, but I kept my eyes on them. Emily glanced my way for a second, then looked back at Mark with a smile that once belonged to me. 3, 2, 1. The crowd shouted. The balloon burst with a loud pop, and pink confetti exploded in a bright cloud. People cheered, clapped, hugged, and shouted, It's a girl. I didn't move. I just watched Emily laugh as Mark kissed her cheek. Lucas asked softly, You feeling okay? I answered no, but pretending is easier than breaking down here. Karen approached me quickly, her face pale. Daniel, she whispered, I need to talk to you. I frowned. About what? She grabbed my hand and pulled me away from the noise. Just listen, she said. I asked, What's going on? She looked around nervously before whispering. Emily was already 2 months pregnant when she filed for divorce. My entire body went numb. What? I breathed out. Karen continued, She didn't tell you. She hid everything. I stared at her, my voice cracking. You're saying she knew the baby wasn't mine from the start? Karen nodded slowly. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. Why are you telling me this now? I asked. Karen whispered, Because you deserve to know the truth. I ran a hand through my hair. She lied to me. She let me think it was my fault. Karen whispered, I'm sorry. Before I could answer, I heard Emily's voice behind us. What are you doing? She shouted. Everyone turned toward us. Emily stormed over, eyes blazing. Mom, What did you tell him? Karen stepped back. He deserved to know, Emily snapped. No, he didn't. This is my life now. I said, your life? That life started before you even left me. Emily glared at me. Don't twist my choices. I stepped closer. Your mother said you were 2 months pregnant when you filed. The room went silent. Mark rushed over. Emily, what's happening? She yelled, nothing. Mom just can't keep her mouth shut. Karen shook her head. You lied to him, Emily. Emily shouted because he would have tried to fix things. I yelled, I was your husband. I had the right to know. Emily's voice cracked. I couldn't stay with you anymore. I whispered, so you chose him. She looked away. Guests whispered around us. Mark put an arm around her. Emily, let's step away. No. She shoved his hand off. No, everyone's already watching. Lucas stepped beside me. Daniel, you good? I whispered, not even close. Emily pointed at her mother. Why would you ruin today? Karen answered, because the truth always comes out. Mark glared at Karen. This isn't your place, Karen shot back. I supported you both. But this was too cruel, Emily screamed. It wasn't cruelty. It was survival. I laughed bitterly. Survival? You mean betrayal? Emily's eyes filled with tears. Stop. You don't understand, I shouted, then explain it. She hesitated. I was scared. I didn't love you anymore. The words sliced through me. So you cheated. She whispered yes. Gasps spread through the room. Mark looked stunned. Emily, you told me it ended before it began. Emily whispered, I didn't want you to feel guilty. Mark stepped back. So you lied to both of us? Emily stammered. I just wanted a new start, Karen whispered, at the cost of everything. Emily looked around at the shocked faces. I said quietly, this perfect image you built, it was never real. She covered her face, trembling. Lucas touched my shoulder. Let's go, he whispered. I nodded, my chest tight. As I walked toward the exit, I heard Emily choke out, Daniel, wait. I stopped but didn't turn. What? I asked. She whispered, I never meant to hurt you like this, said. Intentions don't erase damage. I stepped outside, breathing in the cold air. The truth stung, but it also felt like the first clean cut after months of slow bleeding. Mark's voice cut through the room like a blade. Why didn't you tell me everything, Emily? He shouted. I stood near the doorway, letting my heart beat steady as everyone stared at them. Emily shook her head fast. Mark, please, not here. He ignored her. You kept secrets from me too? You said you were honest with me from the start. She whispered, I tried. I didn't know how to tell you everything. He snapped. You didn't know how? Or you didn't want to? Gasps spread around us. Guests exchanged looks, whispering behind their hands. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. I just watched the cracks widen. Emily reached for Mark's hand. Let's talk outside. Pulled his hand back sharply. No, we're doing this now. In front of everyone, you lied to. Emily's voice trembled. Mark, stop. He stepped closer. Did you cheat on him before or after me? Because clearly you were lying to someone. Emily shook her head violently. Mark, please. He pointed at me. He deserved the truth. And you couldn't even give it to me either? I felt Lucas move beside me. He muttered, You don't have to say a thing. They're destroying themselves. For the first time, I felt a strange sense of calm settle over me, like a cold breeze washing away months of fire. Emily kept trying to grab Mark's arm. Let's just talk alone, he said. No more private talks. No more hiding. Someone whispered, This is a mess. Another said, She lied to both of them. The noise grew louder. Emily suddenly turned toward me. Daniel, please say something. I raised an eyebrow. What do you want me to say? Her lips trembled. Tell them it wasn't supposed to happen like this. I stared at her. That's not my job anymore. She flinched. Mark scoffed. Look at him, Emily. He's calmer than you. Emily whispered, Mark, I'm trying to fix this, yelled. Then start by telling the truth. She stammered. I didn't mean for any of this to happen, I whispered. Intentions don't erase choices. She looked at me with wide, desperate eyes. Lucas leaned closer to me again. This is what happens when someone builds a life on lies. Ah, I nodded slightly. I'm just watching now. Emily tried again to touch Mark's arm. Please, let's walk outside. Mark repeated, stop touching me. She froze. A few guests stepped back, giving them space. Mark's voice cracked with frustration. How many things did you hide from me? Was anything real? Emily whispered, you were real. I swear you were. He laughed bitterly. Then why do I feel like a fool standing here? I felt Emily's eyes on me again. Daniel, I didn't want this to explode like this. I kept my expression flat. You chose the path. It just caught up. Her breathing quickened. I never meant to hurt you this much. I didn't answer. The silence fell heavy. Even the murmurs paused for a moment. I turned slightly away, choosing not to look at her. Emily stepped toward me. Please say something. I walked past her without a single word. Lucas followed me out the door, but I could feel her eyes burning into my back. Behind me, I heard Mark say, there it is. Even he's done with you, Emily whispered. I didn't think he'd walk away. Mark answered, what did you expect? I stepped outside into the cool air. Lucas asked, you okay? I took a slow breath. For the first time in a long time, maybe? He nodded. Silence hurts more than anger. I looked through the glass door where Emily stood frozen. Good, I whispered. Maybe she'll finally understand. I stayed on the porch, listening to the distant noise from the party fade into scattered whispers. My hands rested on the railing as I tried to steady the mix of relief and exhaustion inside me. Lucas stood beside me quietly. You don't have to look back, he said softly. I nodded. I won't. For once, the world felt still, and I let myself breathe without fear, without guilt. Without her shadow wrapped around my thoughts, Emily's text arrived at midnight. I think I made a mistake. Can we talk? I stared at the glowing screen, my breath stuck in my throat. I whispered, why now? The phone buzzed again. She called me. I answered slowly. What do you want, Emily? She sniffed loudly. Please, I just need to talk. I closed my eyes. It's late. She said, Mark hasn't spoken to me properly since the party. He barely looks at me. I feel lost, Daniel, I replied. That's between you and him. She whimpered. Don't be like that, I cut her off. You chose him, she whispered. I know. I was stupid, sat up in bed. So why me? She said, because you always listened. You always made me feel safe. I clenched my jaw. And you still left. She breathed shakily. I didn't know what I wanted. Everything is falling apart, I asked. What did you expect? She said, just let me explain. I rubbed my forehead. Explain what? She answered, I think I missed the stability you gave me. I sighed. Stability isn't something you borrow when things get hard. She whispered, please. Daniel, can we meet? Just talk. I can't think straight. I whispered, because hearing your voice hurts. I need to see you, I finally said. Fine. Tomorrow. 1 hour. She breathed out, thank you. I hung up without replying. My chest felt tight. I lay awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, fighting old memories that tried to crawl back. The next morning, I met her at a small park. She stood near a bench, arms wrapped around herself. When she saw me, her eyes softened. Daniel, I stopped a few feet away. Say what you need to say. She swallowed. I'm sorry, I said. For what exactly? She whispered, for everything. For the lies. For leaving? For hurting you? I nodded slowly. And she looked down. Mark keeps blaming me for the party. He says I embarrassed him. He barely talks to me. I feel like I'm walking on glass. I crossed my arms. Sounds familiar. She winced. I know. I was horrible to you. I asked, so what do you want from me now? She stepped closer. I don't know. Maybe comfort, guidance, something. I shook my head. I'm not your emotional bandage, she whispered. I'm trying to fix things. But I miss how you grounded me. I stared at her. You didn't miss it when you were whispering someone else's name. Her face crumpled. Don't say that, I replied. It's the truth. She reached out as if to touch my arm. Daniel, I made a mistake. Stepped back. That mistake had a name. Mark. A tear slid down her cheek. I thought he would make me happier, said. Then why aren't you happy? She whispered, because he's not you. My heart twisted for a moment, but I forced myself to breathe. That doesn't mean I should come running back. She shook her head. I'm not asking you to come back. I just miss who we were. I looked at her trembling hands. Emily, every choice has a price, she whispered. Does that mean there's no chance? I said, it means I'm not your backup plan. She covered her mouth, crying softly. I didn't think you'd say it like that. I replied, you shouldn't have texted me then. She whispered, Daniel, do you hate me? I shook my head. No, but I'm done saving you from the consequences of your choices. She sobbed quietly. I don't know what to do, I answered. Figure it out without dragging me with you. I'm sorry, truly. I nodded. I hope you mean that. She looked at me with pleading eyes. Can we at least stay friends? I exhaled slowly. Not now. Maybe not ever. Her breath hitched. I understand. I turned to leave. Take care of yourself, Emily, she whispered. Goodbye, Daniel. Shh. I didn't look back. As I walked away from her, I felt a strange mixture of sadness and freedom settling inside me. For the first time in months, I sensed the beginning of my own healing. Today, I stared at my phone screen, feeling that familiar heaviness fade little by little as the days passed. I think I'm finally getting better, I told Lucas at the gym as I wiped sweat from my forehead. He grinned. About time. I was starting to think I'd have to drag you into real life. I'm already here, I said, lifting the weights again. My arms burned, but the pain felt clean. Something I controlled. You're getting stronger, he said. I'm trying. And for once I actually meant it. After the workout, we sat on the bench outside. You should do something for yourself this week, Lucas said. Try a hobby. Anything that doesn't involve checking your phone. I don't check it that much. He raised a brow. Daniel, your phone might as well be an IV. I laughed, the sound surprising even me. Fine. Something new. Work the next day felt different. I wasn't dragging my heart behind me anymore. When I walked into the design department to deliver files, Sophia looked up from her desk. Oh, hey, she said with a warm smile. You're early for once. I'm trying to fix my reputation. She chuckled softly. Your reputation is fine. You just always look tired. I'm working on that too. Well, she said, closing her laptop slightly, you seem lighter today, really. Yeah, it suits you. Her words stuck with me longer than they should have. We talked for a few minutes. Nothing flirty, nothing messy. She asked about the project. I asked about her latest designs. She listened when I spoke, really listened, without judgment or pity. When I headed back to my floor, Lucas texted, Did you talk to her yet? I replied, Who said I did? A minute later, Bro, your silence means yes. I shook my head and shoved the phone into my pocket. But I couldn't stop the smile tugging at my lips. That night, Emily texted me again. Are you awake? I stared at the message. I didn't want to open that door again, but curiosity pulled at me. I typed back, What do you want? I don't know. Things feel wrong. Can we talk? I sat on the edge of my bed, debating. Part of me felt guilty. Another part felt done. I typed, Maybe another time, and put the phone face down. The next few days shifted something inside me. I met up with old friends for dinner, and they teased me for disappearing for months. I tried a painting class, even though I was terrible, and the instructor laughed when I admitted I had no idea what I was doing. You don't need to know, she said. Just feel it, feeling. I had forgotten what that meant, unless it came with pain. A few afternoons later, I ran into Sophia again in the break room. She was pouring coffee and humming. When she saw me, she tilted her head. You look different today. Different good? Or different bad? Good, she said. You look like someone who can finally breathe. I let out a small laugh. That's the goal. Keep going, she whispered. You deserve that. Her words hit me harder than I expected. I nodded and grabbed my mug, trying not to overthink it. That evening, Emily messaged again. I miss talking to you. I typed a short reply. I'm busy. We're changing. I didn't answer. For the first time, silence didn't feel like avoidance. It felt like protection. I sat on my balcony, watching the city lights flicker. I thought about everything I had lost and everything I was slowly rebuilding. Maybe the divorce didn't break me. Maybe it pushed me toward someone I was always supposed to become. I'm choosing myself now. I whispered into the quiet. I heard the knock before I saw the message she sent earlier, asking if we could talk. When I opened the door, Emily stood there with red eyes and trembling hands. Mark left, she said before I could even speak. He walked out after another fight. I leaned against the doorframe. Why are you here? Because I don't know where else to go, she whispered. Can I come in? I hesitated but stepped aside. She walked in slowly, like she was afraid the floor might collapse beneath her. Daniel, she said, turning toward me, I regret everything. I ruined us. I ruined you. You made your choice, I said quietly. I know, she said, wiping her face. But I didn't think he'd give up on me like this. I thought he loved me. Breathed out slowly. And now you want what from me? One more chance, she said, voice cracking. Just one, please. I shook my head. Emily, you don't want me? You want safety. You want something familiar now that everything else is falling apart. That's not true, she argued, stepping closer. I miss the way you held me together. I miss how steady you were. You miss who I used to be for you, I said. Not who I am now. She stopped, her lips trembling. Do you hate me? No, I said, surprising both of us. I don't hate you. I don't even feel angry right now. Then why can't we try again? Because it's too late, I said. The person I was died the night you chose someone else. She covered her face and started sobbing. I'm so sorry, she repeated over and over. I was stupid. I thought life with him would be brighter. And now? I asked. And now I just feel lost. I handed her a tissue. You're allowed to feel lost, but I'm not your way back. She looked up at me with desperate eyes. So this is it? This is it, I said. She nodded slowly, like each movement hurt. I guess I deserved this. I'm not punishing you, I said. I'm choosing myself. She let out a shaky breath. I never thought you'd be the one to shut the door. Never thought you'd be the one to walk out first. She looked around my apartment one last time. You look different, she said. Stronger, I replied. Good, she whispered. You deserve that. Shh. She walked to the door and paused. Thank you for letting me talk. Goodbye, Emily. Goodbye, Daniel. When the door clicked shut behind her, the silence felt gentle instead of heavy. I walked to the balcony and stepped outside. The air felt cool against my skin, and the sky looked clearer than it had in months. I pulled out my phone, staring at the screen for a few seconds before typing, Sophia, are you free for coffee? Her reply came instantly. Sure, I'd like that. For the first time in a long time. I felt something warm settle inside me. I stayed on the balcony for a long moment, letting everything sink in. My heartbeat felt steady, not strained. I whispered to myself, I survived it. The words didn't feel dramatic, they felt true. I thought about the man I was months ago, clinging to a marriage already slipping through my fingers. I thought about the nights I lay awake wondering what I did wrong. Now standing under the open sky, I felt something I never expected. Peace. Not the kind that comes from getting someone back, but the kind that arrives when you finally stop defining yourself through someone else's choices and finally choose your own. I realized healing wasn't a finish line, but a direction I finally chose for myself.